Alright, guys, today we're going to read Miss Rumpus. The author of this story and the illustrator is Barbara Coney. The Blue Pine Lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The Blue Pine Lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know, she is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time there was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop she could see the wharves and the bristling mass of tall ships. Many years ago her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. Now, he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house making figureheads for prows of ship and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores, for Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. So if you look at the illustration, you can see here's Alice when she's a little girl, and she's helping her grandfather, who was an artist. And there they are. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there's a third thing that you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was a grown-up. So we said that she had to do 3 things. She's going to go to faraway places, she's going to live beside the sea, and her grandfather said, but you have to make the world more beautiful. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People now called her Miss Rumpus. So there she is. Now she's a grown-up and she's working at the library. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumpus, "but not quite." So there she is. She's in a room that helps plant grow. So Miss Rumpus went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. So cockatoos are a type of bird. She walked on long beaches picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Rapa Raja, king of Fishing Village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumpus went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. The Bapa Raja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumpus could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother-of-pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumpus. So there she is. She traveled to a faraway place, an island. My great aunt Miss Alice Rumpus climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumpus. "Well, I've certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it is time to find my place by the sea." And that's just what she did. So she's been traveling to all these faraway places. She went to the island, to the mountains. Here she was in the desert. now she's going to get a house by the sea. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumpus watched the sun come up. She watched it cross the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in the glory of the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumpus was almost perfectly happy. But there is still one more thing I have to do, she said. Can you remember what her grandfather said that she had to do? I have to do something to make the world more beautiful. But what? The world already is pretty nice, she thought, looking out over the ocean. So she still has to make the world more beautiful. I want you to think of a way that you could make the world more beautiful. The next spring, Miss Rumpus was not very well, so she's not doing very good. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. Lupines, said Miss Rumpus with satisfaction. I've always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so I could have still more flowers next year. But she was not able to. So if you look careful outside of her window, she can see the flowers that she planted the year before. And then if you look over here, what season do you think it is now? Winter. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumpus was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. I don't believe my eyes, she cried when she got to the top, for there on the other side of the hill was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. So here they are. Remember, lupines are the type of flower. It was the wind, she said as she knelt in delight. It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped. Then Miss Rumpus had a wonderful idea. I want you to predict. What do you think she's going to do next? She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupine seed. All that summer, Miss Rumpus, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands, sowing lupines. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her anymore at all. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. So what is she doing? She's taking the seeds, and what is she doing? Said she was scattering them. She's throwing them in all the fields and everywhere. What do you think is going to happen to those seeds? Let's see. The next spring, there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumpus had done the third thing, the most difficult thing of all. Remember, that was to make the world more beautiful. So to help to make the world more beautiful, she planted all these flowers. My great aunt, Miss Rumpus, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now they call her the Lupine Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupines. When she invited us in, they come slowly. They think she's the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there's a third thing you must do. What is that? I ask. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. But I don't know yet what that can be. The end. So all of you could help make the world more beautiful too. You don't have to plant flowers, but you could think of a way to help make the world a better place by something that you could do even right now when you're little. All right, guys, I hope you have the best day ever. I miss you.